If you want to learn where you should place your microphone to get the best possible sound from it, well, in this video I'm going to show you everything you need to know to avoid the 7 sins of microphone placement. Hey, I'm Ben, and in this series I'm going to take a look at what you can do to improve your audio quality, starting this week with mic placement for vocals and voiceover. Over the next few weeks I've got more recording techniques coming, so please hit that subscribe button now so you don't miss out. Okay, so they're not exactly 7 deadly sins, but there are 7 principles that you can use to improve your sound dramatically. If you're recording voiceovers, ASMR or vocals, then this one's for you. Number 1. Room acoustics and unwanted noises. If you're recording in a room with awesome acoustics, the natural reverb in that room might be just what you're looking for. But if you're here watching this video, then I'm guessing you're probably making do with whatever space you've got available. You might not have the option to acoustically treat your space, but the more you can do here, the more options you'll be giving yourself with mic choice and mic placement. Acoustic blankets can be picked up for around 50 quid and can make a big difference by hanging them over doors and windows, anything that's reflective really. What this does is it reduces reflections of sound bouncing off hard surfaces and being recorded as a slight echo in the microphone. This can make your recording sound thin and amateur. You can do a quick test of your space by clapping your hands or snapping your fingers like this. Can you hear that echo? You should be looking for something a little bit more like this. Those echoes or reverb sounds are really difficult to get rid of in post-processing, so it's much easier to do it now. Another thing to look out for is unwanted sounds suddenly appearing while you're on your recording. Things like the doorbell, a toilet flushing, washing machine or the fridge starting up. It's easy to miss these when you're concentrating on your recording. There's nothing worse than finding out in post-processing that your audio's been ruined by a sound you didn't notice at the time. Think about ways you can minimise these sounds before you start recording, like turning off appliances. But if you turn off the fridge, don't forget to turn it back on. Don't ask me how I know this. So this brings me on to number 2. Using the right mic for the job. A condenser mic will pick up literally everything, as it's more sensitive than a dynamic mic, which will naturally pick up less of your room noise. So if you've got a noisy room or a poor sounding room, then maybe a dynamic mic might be better for you. Different mics sound better with different voices and environments, so if you can, try some out, but don't worry too much because you can make the best of what you've got with careful mic placement. So while we're talking about mic choice, I don't mean to sound patronising here, but make sure you're speaking into the right part of the microphone. Some are designed to be side address, like this, some are end address. You'd be surprised how often this comes up in forums when people can't get the sound they're expecting from their microphone. So while thinking about whether your microphone is side address or end address, this brings us nicely on to the third thing, polar patterns. Microphones are designed to pick up sounds within a very specific area around them and to reject others. Polar pattern is the designed pickup pattern of the mic, ranging from omnidirectional, which as the name suggests picks up sounds all around it, through to the more commonly found cardioid and supercardioid mics, through to shotgun mics which have a very narrow pattern. The polar pattern will have some influence on how much room noise is recorded, so if you're struggling to get rid of reflections or unwanted noises, consider a mic with a tighter pattern like a shotgun mic. But also think about positioning it so that any of these unwanted noises or reflective surfaces are towards the side or the rear of the microphone, where it's better at rejecting these sounds. The narrower the pattern, the more precise you have to be with the microphone placement, and you need to be careful about moving it. If you see how this Rode shotgun mic is much quieter when I'm off to one side or off to the other side, or click my fingers behind it, it's really good at rejecting the off-axis noises. Whereas the capsule on this SE4 has a much wider pickup pattern, and as you can probably hear, picks up a little bit more of my space. Okay, so number 4 is how close should the microphone be? So for this one, I've put the headphones on so I can hear what I'm doing, and I've brought the microphone into shot so that you can see what I'm doing. So the short answer is the microphone should be as close as possible in most circumstances. Sound intensity is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So basically what that means is that as distance is doubled, sound intensity is quartered. So the further away your source is to the mic, the more the room will be heard, including this creaky chair. As you move closer, your voice is relatively louder and the room sounds are relatively quieter. Also, as you bring the mic closer, lower frequency sounds increase in amplitude more than higher frequency sound, making it sound more bassy. This is known as proximity effect. This may be a good thing or bad thing, depending on what you're looking for, but it's something to consider to get the sound you're looking for. If you're using a dynamic mic like this classic SM58, then you'll probably want it almost touching your lips, whereas a condenser mic is usually about a handspan away or 6 inches. Okay, so next up we've got plosives and mouth sounds. Plosives are that thud you get when the air from your mouth hits the microphone capsule, like that. If you're recording for ASMR, then air and mouth noises might be what you're looking for. But for other types of recordings, they're best to avoid by not placing the microphone in direct line with your mouth. Position the mic at a slight angle so that the capsule cuts across the opening in the mouth, so that air can pass by. Sometimes you want to use a pop shield, particularly with a condenser microphone, which diffuses the wind before it hits the mic. If your mic's placed low and pointing upwards, it will pick up more of a nasal sound like this, as it points towards your nose. You'll generally get a better sound if the mic is placed above you like this and pointing across the mouth and towards the chest, picking up those warm chest vibrations. This also has the benefit of reducing unwanted room noises or reflections from behind you, because your body makes a good acoustic block. Okay, so we're nearly there now, just 2 more quick points. So, as I mentioned, I'm wearing headphones, and the reason for this is that before you commit to recording, you really must test your position by monitoring with headphones to experiment with the distance and the angle, listening for unwanted sounds. Otherwise, it's a bit like filming blindfolded. Okay, so the last one now, and this might sound obvious, and it really should be picked up by wearing headphones, but just make sure that you've selected the correct microphone input on your device. There's plenty of stories on the sound forums of people who are almost giving up on their expensive microphone when it turned out they're actually recording from their laptop mics. A gentle rub of the mic will soon tell you that you're on the right one. Okay, so if you run through these 7 things, you're really going to do a lot for your sound quality of your recordings. So you just need to make sure you've done all you can with the room acoustics, you've picked the right mic for the job, you're talking into the right part of it, you're thinking about the mic's polar pattern, you're using the natural rejection of the microphone to mask the unwanted noises, you're happy with the distance and the angle, you've turned off or you've minimised all the unwanted sounds in your area, and you've checked that you're recording into the right track. So now you're all ready to hit record and do your performance. So I do hope that you found this helpful. Please leave any comments below, and please hit like and subscribe, as this will really help me to bring you more reviews and techniques. I'll see you in the next one.